Hey everybody, I'm David, and today I'm going to be doing a top 25 animated movies, my top 25 animated movies. And the reason for that is because I'm not going to review anything this week because there was nothing that I thought was up to my interest. So I still wanted to do a video, and that's why I'm doing a top 25 video. Now, why top 25? Because if I did top 10 animated movies, my top 10 consists of mostly Disney and Pixar. And that's why I decided to stretch it to 25, because I thought, okay, at least there's other movies that I really enjoy that are not just Disney and Pixar in my top 25. So that just shows how much I love Disney and Pixar and how amazing they are. So now that I got that out of the way, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say starting from 25 all the way to my favorite. I'm gonna say what they are, and I'm going to say maybe a scene or moment that I really liked in that movie. I'll try not to make this video too long, so let's get to it. Number 25, I'm going to say, is The Little Mermaid. That was the beginning of the Disney Renaissance era, and one of my favorite moments in the movie is when they're singing Under the Sea. That is literally a song I have memorized my entire life. And I remember back in, I think I was in grade 1 or 2, one or the other, and I remember there's this girl in my class that really was obsessed with that movie, and she made me play all the boy characters. I was Prince Eric, I was Flounder, I was Sebastian. I was practically almost all the male characters, and she played Ariel and Ursula. And so that movie, like, there's a special place there for me, and that's why I guess I have fond memories for the movie. And plus the songs are catchy, and it was the first really good Disney movie that has been seen in a long time. And if you watched my, I think it was Maleficent review, I even mentioned that it's the first movie I can remember seeing in the theaters. So I know I wasn't even 10 yet when that movie came out, so and I still enjoy it to this day. Number 24, I have The Iron Giant. It's such a great movie that I overlooked it when I was younger. I remember not caring too much for it because I was at a phase where if it's not Disney, I don't care about it. But I rewatched it recently, and it's such a great movie. If you haven't seen The Iron Giant, check it out. One of my favorite moments is at the end of the movie when the robot's about to sacrifice himself, and one of the things he wants to be like is Superman. And I thought that was a great way to end it.
Choose to be
Superman.
My 23rd favorite movie is Cars, the original Cars. Despite Cars 2 being the weakest of all the Pixar movies, there's still some enjoyable things I think you can get from that. But Cars 1 is definitely far superior, and it's not the best Pixar movie, but it is a good one. And one of my favorite moments in the movie is when Lightning McQueen learns that Paul Newman's character, I forgot the character's name right now, was an old race car driver himself, and that he had quit racing because after he had a huge accident, he had given up. And I thought that was a really great moment in the movie where a younger celebrity learned about why that, like, people will eventually get over you once you get older, and once you can't do what you're great at anymore, people will get over you eventually and maybe even turn against you at some point.
When is the last time you cared about something except yourself, Hot Rod?
Oh, dude. Are you crying?
No, I'm happy.
My number 22nd favorite film is Frozen. I think Frozen is a great film. I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be, but I can see why it did as successful as it did. One of the biggest reasons, I think, for me anyway, is why I really liked it. Not only was it funny, but there were and catchy songs, but there were also the big twist at the end was probably the big moment that really, like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And for an animated movie too, because I think a lot of people are tired of the prince rescuing the princess, and this was a huge twist on that fairy tale. My number 21 favorite film is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This movie, again, just like The Iron Giant, I never gave a lot of praise to before, and I think the reason for that being is because it was a really dark film. And when you look back at it now, it's such a great film. There's so many dark themes in this film that you never realized or you never cared about when you were a kid. You didn't appreciate it back then. But the characters in this movie and everything is so great. My favorite moment would have to be the song when Frollo starts getting into it's his only song, I think, in the movie, and it's called Hell's Fire. It's such a dark and twisted song that wow. I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a great movie. Just go and watch it and you'll see what I'm saying. You'll realize things. If you haven't seen The Hunchback since you were a kid, go watch it now and you'll see why it's so great.
Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin.
My 20th favorite film would have to be Finding Nemo. Nemo is such a classic Pixar film, and it's so innocent, and I can't pick a favorite moment, but I can pick a favorite character. Dory. Dory, voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, is hilarious. She has the great lines, she has the great moments in the film. That character, I'm kind of worried about Finding Dory, which is going to be the sequel to Finding Nemo, because it's kind of like Cars. Cars, I think it was good because Mater wasn't front and center, and then when Cars 2 made Mater the front and center role, I think that's why Cars 2 was a little annoying to me, because I liked Mater more as a side character, not the lead character, and that's what I'm afraid about Finding Dory. Now that they're making it more Dory-centric, I'm worried that it will be the same like Cars 2, where, yeah, that character was great, but it wasn't because she was the lead. It was because she was the side character. And because can you imagine Dory forgetting every minute throughout the entire 2-hour film? I don't know. I don't know if I could handle that. I'm gonna still go in hoping that it's a great film, and hopefully they prove me otherwise. Maybe this is what Cars 2 should have been. Let's hope. That movie comes out next year, I believe. So I'm pretty excited.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Ho, 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 ho,
Dory.
I love to swim in.
Dory.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna
keep
get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
Sorry.
My 19th favorite animated film would have to be the Lego Movie, which came out recently on Blu-ray. And so many great moments in that movie. It's such a great animated movie. And it's a movie that a lot of people underestimated. I was going to pick a cameo. I was going to pick the Star Wars cameo as my favorite moment. But I'm actually going to go with the ending where Emmett is in the real world. And we see Will Ferrell there. And it was such an unexpected moment in the movie that it caught me off guard, because I wasn't expecting it and I'm someone that reads spoilers, but I don't think I read too much into the spoilers. So it was really good that they caught me off guard like that, and it was a huge surprise, and it was different. It still bothers me, like, how does this fit in with the rest of the movie? It's like, so when they're in the Lego set pieces, they're alive, and when they fall off, they I don't know. I'm not even going to get into all that, but great movie.
If you see anything weird, report it immediately. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to report you.
My 18th favorite animated film would have to be Kung Fu Panda. I really like how Po really defeats this enemy at the end, because throughout the entire film they're building up this villain who is the main threat and as this like very strong and fierce warrior, and at the end Po like beats him easily, which is a very funny fight. If you haven't seen Kung Fu Panda yet, go and watch it. You'll really enjoy this film. One of DreamWorks' best animated films ever. My 17th favorite animated film would have to be the Simpsons movie. We all grew up with the Simpsons at some point in our lives, and even though I don't watch this show anymore, not because I don't like it, I can still probably watch The Simpsons today and still enjoy them. It's just, there's so many damn episodes, man. You don't know when the show's going to end, and there's other shows you want to watch too. And so you have to make room for some of those other shows. And but The Simpsons movie is great. I remember watching it, and I'm still hoping for a sequel. And my favorite moment in the movie would, it's all the surprises, like from the beginning of the film all the way down. Like I like that moment where they're all, the Simpson family, they're all being mobbed at their house, and when they're escaping, Homer gives everybody the finger. I thought that was funny on the writer's part, since that's something they don't get away with on the show. I think Family Guy might be able to get away with that because they're at 9 o'clock. The Simpsons never were able, because they're at 8 and more kids watch Simpsons, they weren't allowed to get away with that, I think, on the show.
You little, I'll teach you to laugh at something that's funny!
My 16th favorite animated film is The Prince of Egypt. One of the very strong points in this movie is the brother relationship between Moses and Ramses. And I don't think you have to be a religious person to enjoy this film. This movie is just a great animated film all around, and one that doesn't get enough attention. And it did really successful when it came out, but I think people forget that it is a really good movie, and I'm surprised that a lot more people don't talk about it more, because it's really done nicely, not just as a movie based off a religious story, but a movie that's just a great animated movie all around. My 15th favorite film is How to Train Your Dragon, the original one. I love the second one, but the second one didn't make this list, unfortunately. I liked it, but I didn't like it that much. But the first one I really liked a lot, and maybe it was because of how different it was at the time. But it was a great relationship story between this dragon and this boy, and that's the majority why I like the film. My 14th favorite film is Wally. Again, Pixar proves how awesome they are when they can do a movie, and the good majority of the beginning is barely without anybody talking. I mean, Wally and Eve, they make these nice little cute noises that kids and maybe teens will go crazy for, but I think it's just all in the storytelling, and it was a little romance in there, I guess. and it was just all done really nicely, and the animation is just stunning to look at in these Pixar films. And favorite scene is going to be a tough one for me. I just like the story overall. I think the story was really well done, and how society might be heading into the future if we're not careful of what we're doing to our planet. My 13th favorite film is Beauty and the Beast. I don't think it's as high as people make it out to be. Beauty and the Beast is a classic, but it's not, to me, when I remember at the time it was the only animated film to ever be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Nowadays Pixar is starting to get into that realm, and they've already had a couple of their films for Best Picture. And to me, there were like other animated films that were just as great or better than Beauty and the Beast that should have been nominated. And it's sad that only now the Academy is starting to slowly accept animated films in that category. But Beauty and the Beast, it was a really good film. I thought Gaston was a little weak, but obviously my favorite moment is Be Our Guest, when Lumiere is singing that to Belle, because Lumiere is one of my favorite characters, and is my favorite character in that movie, and he I just love that song. He has you wish you could have that French accent just to sing that song.
Ma chère mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. And now, we invite you to relax, just pull up a chair, as the dining room proudly presents your dinner.
Number 12 would be Mulan. I love Mulan. It's a great film, mostly because Eddie Murphy makes it hilarious. I think he has the greatest lines in that film, and he steals the show. Mushu steals the show, and any scene that he's in, it's definitely great.
You're
Intimidating? Awe-inspiring?
tiny.
Of course. I'm travel size for your convenience. If I was my real size, your cow here would die of fright. Down, Bessie. My powers are beyond your mortal imagination. For instance, my eyes can see straight through your armor. Oh! All right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
My 11th favorite film would have to be Shrek 2. Again, another movie with Eddie Murphy doing a voice. And this is probably my favorite DreamWorks film. Mostly because all the characters are great. Not just Eddie Murphy, all the characters are great. I love Puss in Boots, I love Shrek, I love Donkey, all of them. And then there's my favorite moment in the movie is when they're all going to rescue Fiona at the end before, the clock strikes 12. And they have the hero song playing, and it's so cool and badass that all of them are rushing into the castle to save her. And that's probably my favorite moment in that movie, for sure.
Today, I repay my debt. Oh. On guard!
My 10th favorite film is Hercules, Disney's Hercules. James Woods steals that show. It's such a great movie and great voice performance. It's hard to get. Obviously, a lot of these movies that I'm mentioning have great performances from voice actors or actors who are, celebrities and just surprise people with their incredible voice work, like James Woods and Eddie Murphy. And this one is no exception. James Woods definitely is having a great time with this role. And he still does the voice of Hades for Disney once in a while when they need him to, like Kingdom Hearts, for an example, the video games. So it's great that he's really good in that role. And the whole movie's a comedy. It's not really based off Greek mythology. It's more of a parody of Greek mythology, and it does it really well.
Hercules, stop! You can't do this to me! You can't! Okay, well, I deserve that. Eric, can we talk? Your dad, he's the fun guy, right? So maybe you could put in a word with him and kind of blow this whole thing off, Meg, talk to him, a little schmooze.
My 9th favorite film is Wreck-It Ralph. This is a more recent one, obviously. It's kind of like Toy Story, but with a mix of the Lego movie, and that's what makes it fun. I think it definitely is a movie that has fun and heart, and I think if you're a big video gamer, you'll love this film for sure.
Hey, zombie! Bad guy!
Hi, zombie.
Hi, zombie. Jen keeps saying labels not make you happy. Good, bad. Ugh. You must love you. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Eighth favorite film would have to be Toy Story 2. I think the first Toy Story movie, I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate for this, but I feel the first Toy Story movie is a little bit overrated. But I think Toy Story 2 is way better than Toy Story 1. Mostly, I like the story better in this one. I like that it concentrated more on Woody and not the rivalry between Woody and Buzz. And I like that we learned a lot more about Woody and where he came from as a toy. I thought that was very interesting. And I like Stinky Pete and Jessie and Bullseye. They were all great new additions to and we got to see Zurg. My favorite moment in the movie would have to be when Buzz, the stupid Buzz, and Zurg are fighting in the elevator, and they do the Star Wars reference, which I thought was hilarious at the time. I still think it's pretty funny today. My seventh favorite film would have to be Tarzan. This was the last of the Disney Renaissance era, where the Disney Renaissance era, for those of you that don't know, is the era of Disney where, starting from The Little Mermaid all the way through Tarzan, where they were making, all their movies were hits one after the other. And Tarzan was the last big hit for Disney. And after that, they started crumbling down. But Tarzan was a really cool one. And I just remember enjoying the whole movie a lot. My sixth favorite movie is Up. Up is just an emotional story for an animated movie, and the beginning right there, I mean, I know how many people cry during those first 10 minutes. But favorite moment is too hard for me for this one again. It's more to do with the story in general. Doug is a great character, the dog. He reminds me a little bit of my dog, which is probably another reason why I love the movie so much. It's like, if my dog could talk, that would be him. My fifth favorite movie is Ratatouille. I think this movie is incredible. It was the second Pixar film to be directed by Brad Bird, and it's just such a great film about a man and a mouse that have to work together, that are both dysfunctional in some sense, and that feel like they're outcasts from their own families. That it's great to see a movie that gives you inspiration that anybody can do anything if they put their minds to it, or if people give them a chance. My fourth favorite animated movie of all time would have to be The Incredibles. Shock, I got a superhero movie up here, right? Because I love superheroes. But yeah, it's not number one, but it is number 4. And I mean, how can you not love The Incredibles? The Incredibles is just a great film all around. It gets the superhero genre right, and it has so much fun with it. And one of my favorite aspects of this film is how the characters are a family. And in the movie, you know, you see that they're not the perfect family. They're like any other family that have their own issues, and they're trying to make it right. But obviously there's always bumps in the roads. Even when you're a superhero family, there's always going to be bumps in the roads. And one of the things, I remember hearing a comment once, reading a comment from someone, this is what Fantastic Four should have been. You know, I I enjoyed the Fantastic Four movies for what they were, but yes, The Incredibles is definitely way better than the Fantastic Four movies. Even I can admit that. My third favorite film is Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3... Pixar movies are emotional train wrecks for people. If you do not cry in the last 10 minutes of this film, I consider you a heartless bastard. There is not one person I don't know that did not cry at Toy Story 3. It's like everybody I talk to about this movie, I can't even watch it that many times because the ending always chokes me up. One of my favorite moments in the movie is when they're all going down to the fire pit, when they're in the garbage dump, and they're all going down, and it looks like it's going to be the end for them all, and they all start holding hands, and it's just, even that scene gets me a little teary at times. It's like, oh my god, this could be the end. There was a time I remember watching that movie the first time, I actually thought that was going to be the end. I thought Pixar was going to do the unthinkable and actually kill off all the toys. Pixar convinced me that they were going to be that heartless to us and kill off the toys that we grew to love since Toy Story 1. Thank you, Pixar. Thank you for making an incredible movie. I love you guys. My second favorite movie of all time is Aladdin. I love Aladdin. Actually, this one and my number one favorite film, animated. These ones sometimes switch for me. Sometimes I'm not consistent with these two. But today I feel like saying Aladdin is my second favorite. I love the character of Aladdin, and Robin Williams as the genie is hilarious. Abu, the carpet. Jafar is like the greatest Disney villain of all time, in my opinion. It's sad that his one and only song in the movie is so short, but you know what? There's Return of Jafar also, which I like to Return of Jafar. It's obviously not on par with these films that I'm naming. The Return of Jafar is just a fun sequel, and you know, the Aladdin TV series in general was just a great Disney TV series. I'm surprised that show isn't out on DVD yet, because I'd buy it in a heartbeat. And yeah, Aladdin, the characters, Princess Jasmine is such, you know, out of all the Disney princesses, Princess Jasmine to me is the best princess that Disney has ever created. And the characters in general are just great characters. And there's very catchy songs, A Whole New World, Friend Like Me, One Jump, etc. You know, all of these are great things about this movie. And obviously the highlight is Robin Williams. If you're going to see this movie, it's because Robin Williams is hilarious. His transformations, his voice impressions, everything about what he does in this movie is great.
The genie has more power than you'll ever have. What? He gave you your power. He can take it away.
Al, what are you doing? Why are you bringing me into this?
Face it, Jafar. You're still just second best.
You're right. His power does exceed my own. But not for long.
The boy is crazy. He's a little punch drunk. One too many hits with a snake.
My favorite animated movie of all time is The Lion King at this moment. And I've been seeing myself going to this one a lot more lately. It's probably because everything in the movie is perfect. The way... Sometimes I'll say Aladdin is more perfect, sometimes I'll say The Lion King. Today I'm saying The Lion King. So it's just like Aladdin. All the characters are great, the songs are great, everything in this movie is great. I think the reason why I'm going with The Lion King today, though, is because it balances the comedy with the drama really well. And Scar is another great villain. Don't get me wrong when I say Jafar is the greatest Disney villain of all time. Scar is very close for me. And but the reason I think I put Scar in that second position is because Scar feels like just he's another Jafar. just one that actually they both went into power at some point. Jafar had power for a shorter amount of time, but it's still the same idea there. The character isn't much different from Jafar, and so that would be really the only difference with those two characters. But the movie itself is like, it's Hamlet and meets Bambi, and you can see the Hamlet inspiration there for sure. But one of my favorite moments in this movie would be when Simba confronts Scar towards the end of the film, and Scar tries to turn it back on Simba. Like, did you forget you were the one that killed your father and ran away right after? Did you forget all of that? And to me, I really enjoy that moment because of how dark and twisted it is, and how Scar is trying to force those memories that Simba should know that that wasn't his fault. But he blamed himself for that, because if he wasn't down there, if he had done what his father wanted to, his father would have still been alive. But unfortunately, shit happened. And I think that's what made The Lion King such a great movie for many generations. And that's why it still is a great movie today for a lot of people. And that's why, you know, when the movie came out, was it last year or the year before? It did really well. It beat out 2 new movies in a row, stayed at #1. I didn't forget that. That was very impressive for an anime. I think it stayed 3 weeks at #1 when it was re-released recently. So, I mean, that just shows the testament of The Lion King and why it's such a great movie still today.
It's true.
You see, he admits it.
Murderer! No, it was an accident.
If it weren't for you, Mufasa would still be alive. It's your fault he's dead. Do you deny it?
No.
Then you're guilty.
No, I'm not a murderer.
Oh, Simba, you're in trouble again. But this time, Daddy isn't here to save you. And now everyone knows why.
Simba!
So, I guess that's it. I'm gonna end it here. Those are my top 25 animated films of all time. Why don't you guys comment below and, you know, tell me what are some of your favorite animated movies of all time. And you know, because I could have left some movies out that I have forgotten about or haven't seen in ages. Maybe, you know, I'll go back and check those movies out. Maybe, yeah, maybe they'll make my list too. But for now, this is my top 25 of all time up to this point in 2014 of June. So yeah, let me know, and subscribe if you are not subscribed to my channel. Subscribe to it now, and comment and like and do all that stuff, and follow me on Twitter, because I always talk about movies and what I think of it, and I'm always rating movies on IMDb, and my rating will show on Twitter, so you all will know what I thought about that new movie release. Sometimes I'm also rating old movies like these ones, you know, if I haven't voted for them yet. So yeah, that's it, and have a good day, guys.